Luther Burden has become a controversial prospect to evaluate ahead of this NFL draft.
Hey, you're falling out of the first round in some of the latest mock drafts from the experts. Do they know something we don't?
I'm not sure. I'm just here to work, man.
Some believe he's worth selecting in the top half of the first round, and some think he's closer to a second round value. And I think that comes from two reasons. One, his statistical drop off from 2023 to 2024, where he went from 1,212 yards in 2023 to 676 in 24, 9 touchdowns to 6 touchdowns, 8.4 yards after the catch per reception to 6.1. And number two, boxing him in to only be a slot gadget guy and not really thinking he has the ability to develop into a more well-rounded wide receiver who can also play boundary in the NFL. And to me, with Burden, it's really all about predicting his projection and not just looking at his production, seeing what potential he has. And that's all the NFL draft really is. If your only job as a general manager was to look at a stat sheet, that would be a pretty easy job. But with Burden, when you look at from 2023 to 2024, there was zero drop off, in my opinion, in his ability as a really electric playmaker, especially after the catch. He showed off all the same talent in both of those years. And I think the main difference for those stats were just the opportunities available to him in the Missouri offense and the struggles that unit faced overall. And just because Missouri didn't ask him to do something doesn't mean he can't do it. Burden feels like he didn't really get to show off his route running in Missouri's system. And so I think you can take a look at what he's done and the limited opportunities he had at boundary even and see how he can develop into a much more well-rounded wide receiver. He might not be that day one. He might not be as ready as a day one prospect as some of the other wide receivers in this draft class, although I think you can use them pretty easily in that slot role from day one. But overall, I think the bigger question for Luther Burden shouldn't be looking and over analyzing the statistical drop off, but just whether or not he'll be able to match up against some more physical, quicker, aggressive cornerbacks in the NFL.